In the headlines tonight, Somalia's senior diplomat says TPLF is dying hard to dismantle the Horn of Africa region with a direct support from the Western powers. A Nobel Peace Prize laureate Desmond Tutu dies at the age of 90. Good evening to you all. Welcome to ETV News. I am Grum Tariku. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed expressed his condolences on the days of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. Abiy tweeted that he joined other world leaders in expressing sadness on the passing away of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, who has been the embodiment of the struggle for liberation. Ethiopia sends its condolences to the people in government of South Africa, the Premier said. In a related development, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate Desmond Tutu dies at the age of 90. In the recent years, he was hospitalized several times to treat infections associated with his cancer treatment. Throughout his life, he advocated for the cause of the oppressed. Johannes Fantown has more from Sky News.
Desmond Tutu was country's moral consciousness when most anti-apartheid leaders in South Africa had been silenced and imprisoned. Leader of the congregation who also led the protest march, he was never afraid to step in or chide the authorities.
The reason he was, as Mandela said, public enemy number one to white South Africans was that he got under their skin because he spoke out. He used to quote the book of Jeremiah in the Old Testament and say, like Jeremiah the prophet, I have to speak out. I'm actually a retiring kind of a person, but I have to speak out, and it's the anger which drove him.
During some of South Africa's most rebellious years, Tutu made the case for comprehensive reform, and his effort won him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984. And it was he who held up Nelson Mandela's arm as the first democratically elected president in 1994.
This is the day for which we have waited for over 300 years. This is the day of liberation.
Mandela promised to investigate the crimes of the apartheid era, and Desmond Tutu was always chosen to lead the process through a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. But it was not easy, and the Archbishop very publicly broke down. Midway through the commission, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, but it didn't slow him down. The man known as South Africa's naughty uncle continued to laugh and engage and criticize it as well. His democratic right is used to castigate domestic politicians, here condemning a decision by the ruling ANC to refuse the Dalai Lama visa.
Our government is worse than the apartheid government.
By the time of Nelson Mandela's death, Archbishop Tutu had fallen out with the authorities. His family said he wasn't invited to Mandela's funeral, a charge which led to a hasty last-minute invitation. The government of then, President Jacob Zuma, said it was a misunderstanding. Few months later, Tutu said he wouldn't vote for the ruling ANC, a decision his daughter also backed.
He is disappointed with the assaults on our democracy, with the levels of corruption, with the amount of graft, with the wanton wastefulness.
He made one of his last public appearances in Cape Town when he met Archie, son of the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex. His infectious sense of fun was on full display. He will be remembered for his energy and decency, his authenticity, a South African icon who was loved and appreciated far beyond his homeland.
Chief administrators of regional states of Ethiopia claimed the triumphant spirit exhibited in the war fronts were manifestations of the unity and determination of the country for its unity and sovereignty. This remark came at a discussion forum among regional administrators and top government officials held in Samara town. Daniel Kassaun has more on this.
The discussion, which was held in the Afar capital Samara town and chaired by Premier Abiy Ahmed, accompanied by the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen, brought together regional administrators. The leaders highlighted Ethiopians from all corners of the country have expressed keen determination and unified stance so as to defend and safeguard their unity. The chief administrators claimed the winning spirit and courageous encounters exhibited in the war fronts are manifestations of the unity and determination of Ethiopians for unity and sovereignty of their country.
The rebel forces are cleared from Afar and Amhara regions. It has lost all its capabilities to fight due to the heavy hands upon it from the joint Ethiopian forces. This is a great victory which brought relief to the people in the affected areas. The coordinated plans and efforts have borne fruit. We have also gained victory against the terrorist Shene rebels in other parts of the country, and it is double-fold victory that we are talking about now.
The battle against the existential threat against Ethiopia was an orderly, unified offensive against the rebel forces that bent on ill wishes to dismantle the country.
This victory means a lot to the people of Afar, Amhara and all Ethiopians. It is a combined victory of Ethiopians from the military, the militia, and from all Ethiopians across the world. The joint forces of Ethiopian troops are defense forces of the country. All forces have been brought together to take major victory against the enemy forces that waged war against Ethiopians and the country's integrity. Huge sacrifice has been paid in unison for the dignity and sovereignty of the country.
The terrorist TPLF was relentlessly beaten, defeated and pushed back by the joint Ethiopian forces. The agenda of the enemy in destroying Ethiopia and humiliating the people will not get another chance as Ethiopians have strengthened their unity.
It is reported that TPLF has been trying its level best to remain a threat to the Horn of Africa region with a direct support from Western powers. It's also been working tirelessly to dismantle the region, says Somalia's senior diplomat Professor Shafiq Yusuf Umar. Nisa has more on this.
Somalia's senior diplomat Professor Shafiq Yusuf Umar noted that Westerners' foreign policy on Africa was solely based on interference.
The Western policy after 1990 was not good in Africa. Their policy was to interfere politically and economically. Even they decide which country you will have trade with. And even they control the foreign policy in Africa and strategic plan of Africa. And that's why some countries destroyed. The last one was Libya, I think you remember. Gaddafi was fighting to unite Africa. And Western, they don't want us to unite and to be strong. They want us to debond.
He also expressed that Prime Minister Abiy came to power to ensure Ethiopia's economic independence, which is not welcomed by the Western powers.
When the Prime Minister came or this government, they decide to be economic independent, self-sufficient. Now they are against the elected government democratically. So American, they want to support TPLF to back to Ethiopian.
The diplomat also added that TPLF used to interfere in the domestic issues of his country, Somalia, when TPLF was in federal power.
There was an action against our brothers in Eritrea. The Ethiopian government supported them. They opened the gate for them. Also Somali, there was intervention because of TPLF. TPLF used to interfere my country. Not only interfere my country, military, and also the election. So that's not the TPLF is what they're doing, but the West wanted this to divide and lead. to povertize, to create enmity between Ethiopia and Eritrea, which as you said to be, good relation. My problem in Somalia is not from us; it's from West. We have terrorist group in Somalia, which was created by the West, like they created in Afghanistan.
Behind the bombing and instability in Somalia, some Western powers played an imaginable role, he noted.
Let me tell you one thing, and other Africans or Ethiopian, now sometimes there is explosion in Somalia. Al-Shabaab, it's just a few, 2,000 like that. Western diplomats and UN bring their explosion weapon to the middle of the country. They exploit. So the good people from Ethiopia, from other people, they think Somalia is not peaceful. What happened in Somalia is not from us. That doesn't mean that we don't have a power to defeat them. But Western bring this. As they bring problem to Somalia, they will bring also problem to other countries. If we refuse and reject Western intervention, military, media, and this, there will be no more problem in Africa.
Africans and Friends of Africans are currently voicing their protest against UA's and other Western powers' interference in Africa's domestic affairs and sovereignty.
The Ethiopian diaspora in Northern Carolina solicited 150,000 USD in support of fellow compatriots displaced by the terrorist TPLF aggression. The Ethiopian diaspora and Friends of Ethiopia across the globe in general and Africans in particular have been playing a crucial role in reversing the unwarranted and well-coordinated pressure on Ethiopia by some Western actors. Addressing the Ethiopian diaspora, Ambassador Fitsum Arega has appreciated the concerted efforts of all who took part in the cause.
የሃይማኖት አባቶችና የኮሚኒቲ መሪዎች በጋራ በመሆን
Religious and community leaders have jointly worked for the concerted successful efforts and contributions of money for Ethiopians in need. The current challenge has brought together Ethiopian diaspora from all supposed to pay sacrifice in support of the country. Compared to their numbers, the contribution is immense as it is collected from different means. It is a manifestation that when there is a will, there is a way. The diaspora have also urged the coordinators to have more formal gatherings so as to channel their support in a better way.
A large number of diaspora are expected to respond to the homecoming challenge, and everyone with African origin is invited. The Ethiopian diaspora are also encouraging others to come.
This support is not the first or the last. I hope there will be many more gatherings. This one has brought the diaspora together to get a chance to speak its mind and to contribute share for the country. We have seen enormous enthusiasm among the diaspora in taking responsibility for the urgent call Ethiopia deserves. Many of us migrated here fleeing from mistreatment of the former regime. Now things are being changed and we are hopeful that the better is yet to come.
So Ethiopia is currently under attack, and as an African, when you see a country like Ethiopia under attack, then you should join in to support, because this is history simply repeating itself. What do I mean? Have you ever wondered why most African flags use the red, yellow and green colors? Well, it was actually the Ethiopian flag that inspired the flags of many African countries like Ghana, Guinea, Cameroon, Mali, Senegal, Togo, Comoros, Burkina Faso, Seychelles, Guinea-Bissau, Sao Tome and Principe, Congo, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Mauritania, Benin. Personally, as an African history enthusiast, I always refer to Ethiopia as the African whistleblower, because it was Ethiopians defeating Italians that was one of the main triggers of World War II. It was also Ethiopia's resistance against foreign occupation that inspired a lot of African countries to fight for their own independence. Even the Pan-African color scheme developed by Marcus Garvey was inspired by the Ethiopian zeal.
Ethiopia is really standing on its own in terms of progress. They attack Ethiopia because they want to attack the Belt and Road Initiative. They don't want the Belt and Road Initiative to flourish, because if it does, it means Africa will change. It will change into a completely new paradigm.
A lot of of African countries still draw strength and have always drawn strength from Ethiopia. And so when you see Ethiopia under attack, then know that the entire African continent is under attack.
Ethiopians living abroad have started booking their flight for the fast approaching Great Diaspora Homecoming Challenge. Moscow-based American political analyst Andrew Korbioko says the Great Ethiopian Homecoming is crucial for the country's democratic security. On the other hand, political scientists and historians pointed out that the resurfacing of the Pan-Africanism helps resist undue pressure from the West. Take a look.
During these trying times, the true sons and daughters of the country have shown their unity and patriotism, protesting in front of embassies, international organizations, palace and mass media outlets by speaking the truth about Ethiopia to the world. Ethiopians have shown their solidarity with their homeland and its people by reacting to the homecoming challenge called by the government.
The reaction for the diaspora is much positive than the foreign tourists. The diaspora have already started booking their flight. The Ethiopian Airlines is every day filling its seats and adding up of additional aircrafts. And there are also a team of diaspora who are reserving charter flights. So the response from the diaspora is immense, and I'm very much excited in that. We have more than 1 million diaspora living abroad, I think close to 4 or 5 million probably. So we're asking 20% of the diaspora to come. And it's not only this month, it's open in the coming months too. So I'm sure they will make it, and I'm also inviting them to come again.
She added the diaspora community is invited to the country for various purposes.
We are aspiring to get close to 1 million visitors. Those are Ethiopian diaspora. And there will be different purpose for their coming. One would be, the diaspora have been doing lots of things all over the world. They want to support their country. They would love to visit. So one is to support the country and to see places which were really vulnerable and harmed. And the second would be to visit their families and friends. And the other, very small portion, may come for looking into investment options. Now the war is about to be over, so they will look into investment opportunities in the land. There is an idea that the Ethiopian diaspora, or the Ethiopian, will also bring their friends, work colleagues, and some other foreigners to accompany them, to come together and show them what's actually happening in this beautiful country. At the same time, they will also bring their families. It's like a national call, whereby we want all Ethiopians to come and see, to support the government, to support their own people.
A Moscow-based American political analyst, Andrew Korbioko, says a homecoming challenge is not just a slogan, but a policy of tangible substance aimed at bolstering the country's democratic security. He referred to the anti-breed war tactics and strategies that comprehensively contract externally exacerbated conflicts within targeted states. They can take military, economic, social, media, financial and other forms. The purpose is to defend the targeted state's democratic system from unconventional attack by foreign adversaries, including those that take advantage of domestic proxies. Korbioko added that the US-led West's hybrid war on Ethiopia is multidimensional and relies heavily on manipulating foreign perceptions about this conflict. The aim is to turn the Ethiopian people against their government by dividing and ruling them through propaganda, including that which worsens their structural stability, such as by scaring away investors. That second mentioned element is achieved through the false claims alleging that the ANDF is carrying out ethnic cleansing, However, thanks to the patriotic Ethiopians who live in all over the world, they have been fighting the US and its allies undue pressure against Ethiopia through #NoMore movement. Indeed, apart from Ethiopians, Africans, black peoples and oppressed peoples around the globe are embracing the campaign.
#NoMore movement is the second chance that Pan-Africanism come to life after generations of being divided and dispute. Africans are now on the way of standing together, and the Pan-Africanism movement has the spirit of unity of Africa, and the #movement also resounded the same cause, and I think this movement is very glorious and prestigious, and it is unprecedented in serving Ethiopia's stand to the international community, and it should be continued again until Ethiopia stands itself and wins this cause.
The Great Ethiopian Homecoming Challenge aims to draw 1 million people home ahead of the upcoming Christmas holiday.
arrived 3 days ago coming from Erbil, Iraq, and I had booked this hotel here, Grand Royal Hotel, online before coming, and I come walking up the street here. I had gotten a taxi from the airport and traffic was bad, and so he dropped me off a few blocks down that way, and I come walking up and I realized I recognize this square and the statue of the guy right there. Alright, let's get across the street here. The Nile River is right out there.